Here we are. We're live. We're talking about it. It's UFC Vegas 33, Hall versus Strickland. These are the full card predictions and the betting tips. Looking forward to this main event. It's a pretty good one. It's a packed card, guys. We have a lot of fights to talk about. 15 matchups on this card. So definitely not one of those small cards. This is a large one. I'm going to break down every fight on the card. Make sure you guys smash that like button on this video. We need at least 200 likes. Appreciate everybody tuning in. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe here too. Let's get into it. Our first fight of the night. We got to talk about it all the way down at the bottom here. Let's get to it. It is in the flyweight division. Ryan Benoit, Zarrukh, Adashev. Now, you look at their records, neither has a pretty one, right? Ryan Benoit, 10-7, Zarrukh, Adashev, 3-3. Zarrukh does have a pretty good kickboxing background. And you know what? Against Sue Mataraji, he didn't look awful. He actually hit Sue with some okay punches, whereas in his other fight inside of the UFC, if you guys remember, he got badly finished. That was against Tyson Nam. This fight here, I actually think is a favorable matchup, definitely for Ryan Benoit, because if you look at that Tim Elliott fight, he actually fought pretty well. Showed an improved gas tank, good wrestling defense, offensive grappling for sure. Ryan Benoit is going to be a tricky matchup for Zarrukh. Normally, Benoit is known as a striker and is superior striking to a lot of guys that he's fought. I mean, he knocked out Sergio Pettis, who's now the Bellator champion. Granted, this is years ago, but still a respectable attribute. I like a lot of things out of Benoit. Southpaw versus Southpaw matchup too. I actually think that could be favorable to Ryan Benoit here. I do think he looks to grapple a bit more than normal. I do think he will potentially clinch up and take down Zarrukh Adashev. Knowing that Zarrukh is a dangerous striker, does have some dynamic knockout power, though we haven't seen it at the highest level inside of the UFC. We'll ride with Ryan Benoit to win this fight. I do believe a unanimous decision. Let me quickly pull up fight odds to give you guys the most accurate odds listed on the internet at the moment. Benoit sitting around -125 to best value +120. So the odds fairly close. You can fight Adashev at a dog. Personally, I'm not high on Adashev, though he has the good kickboxing background and he had an okay fight against Mataraji. He still clearly lost. And I think Ryan Benoit here has too many skills, wide array of mixed martial arts versus a guy who's primarily striker. Got to go with Ryan Benoit to win this fight by a unanimous decision around that -125 price tag. Not a bad potential play on Ryan Benoit. I do think if distance play here, even though both guys do have finishing ability, I think Benoit's going to come in wrestling heavy game plan. Next fight of the night, Orion Cosce versus Philip Rowe. Now, Cosce pulled off a pretty solid upset when he fought in the Contender Series, has not fought since that point. On the other side, Philip Rowe, the Fresh Prince. I guess I can see the similarity in his look to Will Smith. Also pretty tall dude, 6'3", 80.5-inch reach. Physically, he's strong. Not a fantastic grappler, but he's okay on the ground. Definitely has the physical strength to make up for some technical inefficiencies, especially being as tall as he is at 6'3", with an 80.5-inch reach. Striking-wise, clear advantage over Orion Cosce. With Cosce, his game plan is going to be potentially getting this fight to the ground and working from the top. His striking is okay, a little bit of a basic stand-up game, does work pretty well from the clinch, and does have skills with his submissions, top control. For some reason, I feel like this is not an easy fight for Orion. Coming in, UFC debut, taking on Philip Rowe, who I don't think is an amazing fighter by any means, but striking-wise does have a bit of a threat, and I haven't been, like, superbly impressed by Cosce. I'm going to have to go with the dog in this one, Philip Rowe. I feel like he's going to knock out Orion Cosce in the second round. Is it an absolute lock of the night underdog? No, and I want to see them face off, after the weigh-ins too. Obviously, we'll get a little bit more of a look, but I think Philip Rowe could actually win this matchup. Got to go with the Florida man, Philip Rowe, the Fresh Prince. I'm picking him by second round KO. He is a slight underdog here, sitting around, the +145 range. Orion Cosce around the -160 to -185 even range. So he's actually a fairly strong favorite on some sites, depending where you bet him at. I like Phil Rowe, underdog play in this matchup, and I have him by KO TKO. let's keep on moving through this card. Trevin Jones, Ronnie Lawrence. Trevin Jones has a pretty big win that was overturned against Timur Valiev. Got destroyed in the first round and then knocks him out with a huge punch in the second. Not saying it was a fluke, but I don't think it would happen again if they fought again. On the other side, you got Ronnie Lawrence, hot prospect, a lot of things to like from him. He's a pretty damn slick striker, and he sets up his takedowns really well. Level changes, super fast, crispy with the hands, crispy with his kicks. I mean, the guy is pretty well-rounded overall. On the other side, Trevin Jones is an athletic southpaw with some knockout power for sure. He's coming off a KO win in the last one, knocked out Timur Valiev. Even though it was overturned, he still knocked him out. Physically is very strong. But I feel like Ronnie Lawrence will overwhelm him with a superior skill set. He'll look to mix in some wrestling here. Be tricky to deal with striking. Not super widespread odds for this one. I'll get the official ones up. Around Lawrence, minus 135 favorite. Trevin Jones, plus 150 dog at best value. But the odds are not extremely widespread everywhere you go. I mean, Trevin Jones is, even at a plus 105. So it's near even money. And I think later on in the week, it could be even closer. I like Ronnie Lawrence, though, to win this fight. I think he's a more dynamic mixed martial artist. I think he's going to mix his striking with grappling in so smoothly here. I think he'll put Trevin Jones on his back potentially a couple of times. I do think he'll land some decent strikes as well. I like Trevin Jones' style, and he's an entertaining guy to watch, and he does have serious KO power, but I think Ronnie Lawrence has the antithesis to this man. Can beat him. I'll ride Ronnie Lawrence for the win by a decision, and definitely a fight that I'm going to keep an eye on the lines, and potentially if they come into those pick'ems odds, Ronnie Lawrence could be a pretty solid pickup at near even money here. Next fight, Ashley Yoder, Jinh Frey, strawweight division. Interesting that this fight is on the undercard, and there's a matchup on the main card where the girls have lost to a lot lesser competition. But that doesn't matter. We're talking about this fight, strawweight division. Ashley Yoder on one side coming off a pretty dominant loss to Angela Hill, but she wasn't expected to win that matchup. On the other side, Jinh Frey coming off a win over Gloria Di Paula. With Frey, you have a solid Muay Thai style of striker. Southpaw, who is pretty physically strong. Their best attribute, definitely in my opinion, she does chop the low kicks well, really will slow down the movement of a fighter like Yoder. Yoder's actually a pretty solid kickboxer, especially from that mid-range. It's a pretty nice jab, especially having the height and reach advantage here. I think she's going to be doing a lot of lateral movement, outstriking Frey over the course of 3 rounds. If it gets in the clinch, I see Frey putting her up against the cage, but I don't see her with much effective offense. I really feel like Ashley Yoder should go out here and win this fight by a decision. Technically superior. Frey might steal a round, maybe 29-28, but I'll ride Ashley Yoder for a decision win. It's women's MMA. It would be extremely risky to bet this fight, but if you want to put a little something down, you obviously could, no matter what side you're on. But I personally am not crazy about it, but I like Yoder to win here, and I do think Yoder by a decision, minus 131. There is one prop available. Fight goes the distance play is already at minus 305, so it's not really even worth the play at that widespread of odds. But I do think we're looking at this fight definitely going the distance, and I think Yoder by a decision is the pick in this matchup. Maybe a potential prop on Yoder to win a decision. We'll see when they drop later on in the week. Make sure you guys check out the best bets video. We'll go super deep with the betting odds and the potential plays to make. Next fight of the night, though, let's keep on moving. It's Danny Chavez, Kai Kamaka, the third featherweight division collision. TJ Brown, recent opponent of both men. Chavez beat him. Kai Kamaka lost to him, but it was controversial. Kai Kamaka definitely deserved to be victorious against TJ Brown in that matchup. Unfortunately, the victory was stolen from him by incompetent judging, which seems to be happening on a fairly regular basis, especially in Vegas. So keep an eye on those close decision fights because you don't know what side they're going to go on. And if you pay close attention, they tend to go the side of the underdog. So I don't know. Tricky matchup here, right? Kai Kamaka is going to be a slight favorite in this fight. Stylistically speaking, he's a pretty explosive striker. Definitely has a pressure-heavy striking style. Really solid low kicks, nasty overhands. He will look for those overhand punches, maybe sometimes too much. I believe, though, he'll be a bit more patient than we've seen previously. He's getting a good amount of UFC experience at this point, this being his 4th fight in the UFC. Also, physically pretty strong fighter. On the other side, Danny Chavez is a powerful striker. Does have some real knockout power. His right hand, I would say, is where he makes his money. The dude has a really solid right. Kai Kamaka obviously will need to be cautious of that. I believe Kamaka has the chin to deal with the power of Danny Chavez. Also, though, Danny Chavez has some really good lateral movement. I feel like in this matchup, Both fighters are pretty highly skilled. Kamaka, the younger fighter, though, 26, so he's 8 years younger than Danny Chavez. On one side, I mean, really, you have Chavez, who's towards the end of his career. Kai Kamaka's still in the early stages at just 26 years of age. I think Kai Kamaka is going to put a high pace on him. I think it's going to be a really competitive striking battle. I'll take Kai Kamaka by a split decision. But if the lines are super close towards the end of the week, or if they spread out further, let's say you see Chavez, upwards of a plus 150 underdog. If the fight goes close, the decision will probably go towards Danny Chavez. So keep that in mind, guys. But I am going to ride Kai Kamaka to win this fight for a decision. I'm picking who I think is going to win the fight, not necessarily who the controversial decision would potentially go to. But you can find the odds now actually at near pick'ems, minus 110 to minus 110. Chavez at a very slight plus 100 dog. Odds may shift the other way. We'll see as the week goes on. We'll pay attention to the lines here. But I got to ride with Kai Kamaka III to win this fight by a unanimous decision. Higher volume striking output, the faster fighter. And I think he's going to get the win over a very dangerous Danny Chavez. Should be a pretty exciting matchup. The next one, another one of these prelims. My goodness, there's a lot of prelims. I gotta say, I love fighting, but 15 fight cards, maybe a little bit overdone. Cut it back to 12, 13. I don't know, 15 fights. That's a lot of fights. Gruetzemacher versus Rafa García. Not much really needs to even be said. I'm on Rafa García. He's actually a really hot prospect. He lost to Nazareth Hakparast by a decision in his UFC debut after being undefeated outside of the UFC, and he took that fight on short notice. He's fighting a washed Gruetzemacher. I mean, Gruetzemacher never had a great chin. He had been knocked out in the past. He's a gritty fighter. He likes to come inside and scrap. That's kind of his style, is to sit in there, scrap, striking-wise, okay grappling skill set. He's completely outmatched here. I think Rafa García is going to dominate this fight. He has solid wrestling and actually some pretty good knockout power. Striking's not bad. Physically very strong. He's only 26 years of age versus the 35-year-old. As I said, I think Grits is washed at this point. I'm riding with Rafa García. I think he's going to get a KO win in this fight. I'm feeling like we're going to see KO round number 1. Could also see it going into the second. Could also see Rafa García potentially getting the fight to the ground and winning by a submission. Tends to finish fights, but does have wins by decision. This Gruetzemacher fight should be a pretty clear mismatch here. So we'll go Rafa García, KO, TKO, round 1. Don't be surprised if it is on the ground with some ferocious ground and pound. Rafa García, let's see what the odds are sitting at for him. Rafa García is a minus 250 favorite. Gruetzemacher is a plus 236 underdog. The odds, not close. And Rafa García should destroy Gruetzemacher in this fight. Let's keep on moving up this card. Another prelim bout. Collin Anglin versus Baghdasaryan. I'm actually pretty high on Melsick. Anglin's all right. He was on the Contender Series. Wasn't expected to win that fight, but pulled off a pretty solid upset. That was against Muhammadjan Naimov. That was not a fight that he was expected to win. 8-1 as a pro. Orthodox striker. Smooth kickboxing skill set. Hands, though, tend to be a bit low. Does tend to do his best work fighting on the inside and does have a pretty solid right hand. On the other side, Baghdasaryan is a pressure striker. Southpaw. High volume as well, very good conditioning. I think he's going to put a high pace on Collin Anglin here. 5-1 as a pro, 8-1. Both guys pretty solid records, but I really feel like Baghdasaryan's volume is going to make the difference here. I predict he will win this fight by a decision with a very pressure-heavy attack. Collin Anglin, on the other side, is a slight underdog. We'll get the exact odds up for you here. Anglin sitting around the plus 120 range, whereas on the other side, Baghdasaryan minus 150. Best value you can find him at is minus 142. I think fight definitely goes the distance here. Let's see what the prop is available. Fight to go the distance is minus 165. Over 2.5 rounds, minus 120. I don't think minus 120, bad bet for fight decision here. I think the minus 120 over 2.5 is actually the best bet to make right now at minus 120. But I have Baghdasaryan winning this fight. High volume attack, decision victory for him over Collin Anglin in this featherweight matchup. Lots of Contender Series veterans on this card. Some recent veterans too, guys with minimal amounts of UFC experience. Nicco Montaño versus Yanan Wu. If you guys don't know, Nicco Montaño was the inaugural flyweight champion of the world. Unfortunately, she dodged the fight with Shevchenko. Let's just tell it how it is now. Do I blame her? Absolutely not. She ends up losing to Juliana Pena in a fight at 135 pounds, and now she's back at 135 again. I'd like to see her drop a weight class and fight at 125, potentially try to make a run there because I think that's where she'll do her best work. Very grappling heavy southpaw here. A girl that's going to look to put you against the cage, take you to the ground, grind you out, potentially winning a decision, looking for a submission, or if she gets in dominant enough position, unloading the ground and pound and getting the stoppage. On the other side, Wu is a very sporadic striker, a ton of hand movements, a little bit awkward, I would say. Kick-heavy striking attack for sure. Grappling-wise is okay, but I think she's going to be outmatched here when she takes on Montaño. I think the physical strength edge is the way of Montaño. Granted, not a lot of pro experience for Montaño, but I do think she has a solid skill set, and I do think she's going to put it on Yayan Wu here, who I'm not super high on. I'll take Montaño to win this fight by a decision. Might be a hell of a grappling fest here and might not be the most entertaining style of grappling like we'd like to see. A lot of transitions and whatnot, a lot of positional dominance, control, probably a slower pace. I'll take Nicco Montaño, -172 favorite. Yanan Wu sitting around the +161 dog at best value, but you find it even way lower. It could be at +133. Wouldn't bet on you if I was you, but I do like Nicco Montaño to win by a decision. Maybe a potential bet for Montaño to win by a decision, but I got to see what the lines are at later on in the week. Man, for whatever reason, Best Fight Odds doesn't want to load up our prop here. Oh, there is no prop. That's why. Guess the prop is not unleashed yet for the fight goes to the decision there, but I'm going to actually double check that for you guys because I want to get you the best info possible. Let's get Best Fight Odds up and let's see what we can find here. Jesus, a lot of Olympics betting here. Montaño, where is she? Where is Nicco Montaño? -178. The prop, there is something available. Fight goes the distance, -285, over 2.5, -325. It's ugly. It's not worth it. Not worth the play, at least not right now, and it's probably going to get worse as the week goes on. Potential Montaño decision play, but women's MMA, that's high-risk stuff right there. Featured prelim of the night. If you guys have not yet, smash the hell out of that like button. We need at least 200 likes on this video. I appreciate everybody tuning in, whether live or on replay. I love you guys. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe here too. And let's talk about it. It is our featured prelim, Mounir Lazzez versus Niklas Stolze. I'm very excited for this fight, guys. Mounir Lazzez is a pretty solid kickboxer. Does have some pro experience kickboxing, but I do feel like he's a bit stiff and hittable down the center. Bad knockout loss. That was against Alves in the last one, Warley Alves. And then on the other side, Niklas Stolze coming off a loss as well. That was against Razman Amiv. Actually, he's a pretty nasty kickboxer. Stolze has 15 kickboxing bouts professionally, I believe. He's a pretty nasty striker from mid-range. The kickboxing range is where he shines. Nice front kicks, solid low kicks, decent straight punches. Height nearly similar here. I don't know why the hype on Muniz is so high. Excuse me, on Mounir Lazzez is so high. He only has a win inside of the UFC over Abdulrazak Al-Hassan by decision, and Abdulrazak Al-Hassan is proven to be a bit overrated and potentially washed by the time they fought. I will ride Niklas Stolze, the underdog here. He's the more dynamic kickboxer. I think he's going to beat Mounir Lazzez, and I actually think he's going to find a way to land on the chin. I'm going to go KO round number 2 for the underdog, Niklas Stolze here. Odds for this fight, Stolze sitting at a +170 to +174 underdog. Mounir Lazzez at best value, -190 favorite, but he's also in that -200 money. I got to ride with my guy Stolze, and I don't think the fight goes the distance here. I'll say fight inside the distance, +130. Could go the distance, but I still see Stolze outlanding Mounir Lazzez and beating him here. I will ride Stolze to win this bout, going with the German fighter by upset to defeat Mounir Lazzez in this matchup. Now, I will check up on that live chat. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Smash that like button. And let me see what the live chat is talking about. Big Mike says it is on site. He wants me to beat his ass, dude. That's funny. We got to play the T-Wood song. That's good. Yeah, dude. I like how I saw this dude in my comments. I checked on his page. He created the account yesterday. So probably one of the Parlay Kings trolls in the chat, Big Mike. We might as well take him out of here because we know he ain't really worth our time. We'll give him a little timeout action, but we'll let him come back and talk some smack a bit. But Big Mike, stay savage, bro. You're a real animal. But let's see what's going on with the savages in the chat here. Still can't get over that judging, bro. Me as well, man. That judging was damn awful. And I genuinely did not enjoy it. I was getting pretty irritated with some of those scorecards, man, because they were just way off. It didn't make sense to have the scores be as bad as they were. But it is what it is. Hey, bro, you should do predictions for the next round of tough. I need to do tough predictions this week, guys. I definitely do. Still can't get over the judging myself. I know. Frey by decision. Weiser counter out. That's just Frey. I just like the striking of Frey. Or excuse me, of Yoder. Barberena Dawkins versus Shamil, no distance. Definitely possible. A lot of closer fights. Both girls are still heavily favored to pull out this point, like minus 450. Nicco's still in the UFC. I know, dude. I was actually thinking of Nicco Montaño today. I was like, man, is she even still in the UFC? But still around. Any early lines to hop on? Potentially some fight goes the distance plays. Maybe you want to get the Kamaka Chavez fight. There's definitely some ones. What's on site? My senior father, 30 years. You bro, rip Big Mike. Yo, can you play I'll Beat Your Ass by T Wood? Dude, that's a money song, bro. We might have to jam out to it, man. Dude was in the first one of the live chat. Yeah, I think he's got my videos tapped up, so he just follows me quick. That's funny, bro. I don't mind, bro. You know me. I actually genuinely find the trolls pretty hilarious. I just like, because I saw this guy in the comments yesterday. I just clicked on the page. I quickly went through, and I was like, this dude literally made his account yesterday to talk smack. It was the other guy that was in here. But hey, it is what it is. He probably doesn't have a lot of friends. He's got to do something. This probably gives him entertainment, so I enjoy it. Opinion on Eubanks. Dude, she looked like a fucking savage out there. I am actually a fan of Eubanks. I thought she was going to win that fight, but the performance she put on was fantastic. Dawkins versus Shamil, no distance. Hop on that line. Yeah, definitely possible, man. But guys, smash that like button. I do want to get back to this card. I'll chat it up with you guys as long as you want after the card. But we're going through the full main card predictions. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Let's get 200 likes on this video, and let's get into it, man. The next fight of the night. It is Bryan Barberena versus Jason Witt. All right. So on one side, you have Bryan Barberena, OG vet of the game at this point. The man has a lot of fights inside of the UFC. Big win was against Warley Alves, actually, back in the day. I feel like this matchup here is perfectly set up for him. Jason Witt, solid wrestler with a bit of a questionable chin, and he's going to look to wrestle immediately. He does not want to stand in there and strike with Bryan Barberena. Barberena on the other side, southpaw, aggressive striker with some decent boxing, but he really does have durability, and I feel like his grappling game is also durable, right? He'll get taken down. He'll find the way back up. He'll fend off submissions. He'll find the way back up. He's not an easy guy to put away. Jason Witt, I don't see as a guy that's going to get the finish in this fight. I do think potentially actually gasses a bit when Barberena's is keeping this high pace. Granted, the line is so wide at Barberena, I wouldn't touch it, especially with some health issues and whatnot Barberena has dealt with. I'm going to ride Bryan Barberena to KO Jason Witt in the second round, but be cautious if you're thinking about betting this fight here. I lean towards not, but I'll ride Bryan Barberena by a KO. And let's check out the odds for this fight. Minus 249, plus 221. Over 2.5 plus 125. They're expecting it not to go the distance. I do think Barberena finds a way to land on that chin. Jason Witt, I'm not saying he's like Glass Joe, but he's been knocked out a couple times recently, and they've been quick. I think Bryan Barberena can find a way to that chin, especially Witt's going to be looking for so much wrestling. Barberena's not bad on the ground either, and he definitely finds a way up fairly quick. So got to ride Bryan Barberena in this matchup. Let's get to the next one. It's Sam Alvey, Roman Kopylov. Alvey's still fighting. Alvey has got some heart in him because the man just keeps going. At the end of the day, he has taken loss after loss after loss. I mean, he does have a draw in there. Bad loss in the last one against Julian Marquez. On the other side, Roman Kopylov is a nasty striker. Southpaw, really slick. Hands a bit low, but the man is a master of sport in combat sambo. So that means you have had like 50 to 100 combat sambo matches. This guy is well above his experience level at 8-1. Very high level pretty much everywhere. Does have a disappointing loss in his debut against Carl Roberson by submission. It is what it is. That was his first loss as a pro. I actually think he's going to put on a showcase fight against Alvey. With Alvey, you got a durable vet who's decent everywhere, awkward with his striking, always smiling. I feel like, though, Sam is better at 205 at this point than at 85. The cut seems to be damaging him more so than in the past. I have to ride with Roman Kopylov, KO, TKO in the third round here. I think he's going to stop Sam Alvey. Wouldn't be shocked if actually he pulls off a submission as well. The man's pretty well-rounded. Got to ride Kopylov. Should be a pretty impressive performance, and we got to keep an eye on him. Even though he has that loss in his debut, I think he still could develop into a pretty nice potential contender down the line. Let's see. Kopylov, minus 255. Alvey, plus 215. Odds are widespread for Kopylov, and he's going to be victorious in this matchup. I think he should put on a pretty solid showcase fight over Roman Kopylov here. Let's get to the next fight of the night. Kyu Ho Kang. Man, I don't even know if that's how you properly pronounce his name. I think it's Kang Ho Kwang, Kayong Ho Kang versus Ronnie Yaya. Ronnie Yaya is a master of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That is his entire game. He finds a way to get the fight to the floor. Not the best wrestler after one shot, but he's going to shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot. He's going to chain wrestle the hell out of you. Look to get on top. Look to set up submissions. Very heavy when he is on top. Nasty Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skill set. Will use striking to set up takedowns. He is fairly confident to strike and look for takedowns. Not like he's trying to knock you out with his shots, but he's still going to make you respect his punches, and then he'll eventually put you on the ground. Hang kind of does a similar thing, but his striking is definitely better. Pretty rangy with his kickboxing. Solid jab right combo that sets up fantastic takedowns. He's really efficient with his takedowns, and the way he sets them up after that right hand, they're crisp, man. They're extremely good. But Ronnie Yaya is so persistent and nasty with his grappling. He's an underdog here, but Yaya has only lost to decent competition. I mean, he lost to Ricky Simone 2.5 years ago by a decision. Hang has barely beaten lower level guys in the UFC, and now he's getting a step up against a superior grappler. Ronnie Yaya is going to win by submission in the second round here. He's going to beat Kyu Ho Kang, whose name I'm just having a hard time pronouncing. We're riding with Yaya by a submission around the plus 125 dog. Kyu Ho Kang, minus 137 favorite. We got to ride Ronnie Yaya to win this fight. And I do think he's going to put on a pretty impressive submission victory. Potential submission prop bet. Check it out on the Best Bets video that will be dropping on Tuesday, which honestly, I cannot wait for that. Gloria Di Paula versus Cheyenne Buys is our featured bout of the night. Something is wrong with this, in my opinion. I have no idea. I hope that this is not the official end-all, be-all lineup. But as of right now, Tapology has this listed as the official lineup. This is our featured bout of the night. Strange, head-scratcher. Both making their sophomore appearance in the UFC. Cheyenne Buys is a pretty basic striker, does get a bit wild with their striking, has kind of high volume attack, okay on the ground, but you saw the last one, Montserrat Conejo dominated the hell out of her. Granted, Conejo's a tricky grappler to deal with, but destroyed Cheyenne Buys on the ground. Striking-wise, Gloria Di Paula has a clear-cut advantage. She's very fast, nasty with her modified Muay Thai style, solid straight right that she lands money down the line. I've been high on Di Paula since I saw her fight Pauline Macias. That was on the Contender Series. I think this fight kind of looks similar to that. I think Buys is definitely going to look to wrestle. Di Paula is going to be able to defend the takedowns. She's going to mix it up striking. Gloria Di Paula win by a decision over Cheyenne Buys. I think she's going to put on a pretty swell performance. Underdog play. I was surprised to see her as the dog. I think that the lines are playing with us a bit here. I don't know. I think it's low likelihood that Cheyenne Buys is able to win. She has a lot of hype on her, which is probably why she is the favorite. Also from Las Vegas, Nevada. Don't know if that has anything to do with her being this solid of a favorite. But I think the lines will shift as the week goes on because I think a lot of people will see the value in Di Paula. Di Paula is all the way up to a plus 169 underdog. Cheyenne Buys the minus 175 favorite. We will go with Gloria Di Paula to win this fight by a decision over Cheyenne Buys. All right, co-main event of the evening time. It's a fight that was supposed to be last week. I was super pumped for it last week. I'm still pumped for it this week. You have a red-hot contender in Chris Daukaus versus a difficult OG contender in Shamil Abdurrahimov. Heavyweight division matchup, anything can happen. But let's be honest, Chris Daukaus has some clear-cut advantages striking. He's very light on his feet. His hands are extremely fast for this heavyweight division. He has some real knockout power. His hooks are deadly, and his right hand fantastic as well. Watch out for the left hook and the right hand. Those are kind of his money punches. On the other side, Shamil Abdurrahimov, pretty decent with his striking, does get a bit wild with his looping overhands. I would say boxing heavy attack, not a ton of kicks, and also a plodding striking style. But he's using his strikes to try to set up takedowns. Not nearly as bad striking as Aleksei Oleinik, recent opponent of Chris Daukaus. He's definitely got a clear-cut advantage over Oleinik. Shamil Abdurrahim was not an easy guy to deal with, but I think Chris Daukaus has the skill set everywhere to deal with it. Also does have some pretty nasty jiu-jitsu that we just haven't seen in the UFC yet. I think Chris Daukaus pulls off a knockout inside of that first round. Clear-cut speed edge. He's going to starch Shamil Abdurrahimov in one round, earn himself the biggest win of his career. This is a stern test, though. Not an easy fight, but I think he comes through and wins here by KO in the first. Shamil Abdurrahimov is a plus 164 dog. Chris Daukaus, a minus 181 favorite. Gotta love Christopher Daukaus to win this fight by a KO in that first round. We'll see. That fight doesn't go the distance play. It is already minus 230, so pretty wide. I think under 1.5 plus 130. Not a terrible play either. I think Daukaus wins by KO in that first round. Could see it going into the second, but I think it's going to be the Chris Daukaus show here. He's a pretty red-hot prospect right now in the heavyweight division, and I think he's emerging as a legit top 7, top 6 contender in the next year. And I'm excited to see what the future holds for him because definitely has a fan-friendly style. We have arrived at the main event of the evening. Smash that like button if you guys haven't yet. We need at least 200 likes on this video. Subscribe if you guys are new here, and let's talk about this sweet main event. You have Sean Strickland, who is a dynamic striker, very patient, picks his shots well. Some of the best boxing in the middleweight division for sure. Not like a one-touch KO guy, but does have some serious knockout power. I like everything Sean Strickland does. He's super fun to watch. He's well-rounded, 23-3 as a pro. This guy is as legit as they come without ever really emerging in that like top of the top. He's been around for a long time, but just always stopped right before he gets to that superbly elite level. He now takes on Uriah Hall, who is a very dynamic striker in his own right. The man is a knockout artist. When he is on his game, Uriah Hall is something special. He can be losing fights and then land the big KO punch. You've seen the kickboxing skill set throughout his career. Spinning attacks, a lot less nowadays than we saw, when he fought in The Ultimate Fighter. That was a lot lower level of competition. The only loss by KO, interestingly enough, Sean Strickland has was a spinning back kick against Aleksei Dos Santos, and he was dropped with a spinning back kick and then ground and pound. Not saying we're going to see that here. I think Sean Strickland is actually probably going to control range well. For the first 3 or 4 rounds, I think he wins the majority of the non-championship rounds. I think he probably edges out Uriah Hall if it's a 3-round fight. If this was 3 rounds, I'd be pretty high on Strickland. Here's the thing. With 4 rounds, Uriah Hall has a lot of time to work. Tends to keep his volume a bit low. Sean Strickland, higher volume guy, but we haven't seen him in this championship round setting. We have seen Hall win late. That was against Anderson Silva. I'm going to shock you guys with this pick. I'm going with underdog Uriah Hall by a KO in the 4th round here. I'm a fan of Sean Strickland and Uriah Hall. Honestly, I want either guy to win. Might bet a KO prop on Hall, especially with the value definitely probably being there. But as a fan, I just want to sit back and enjoy this fight because it's a fantastic matchup. High-level mixed martial arts on both sides. It's Sean Strickland's opportunity to emerge as a top contender, and it's Uriah Hall's opportunity to set back this hungry up-and-coming guy. And potentially, Hall will be on a then legit run. It would be a 5-fight win streak for Uriah. Both guys looking for a 5-fight win streak. Both guys serious threats in this middleweight division as far as emerging into that top 8, though. If Sean Strickland wins, the ceiling is unimaginably high. I actually, even though picking Hall, I would kind of like to see Strickland win as a fan because I feel like I just want to see him get his chance to fight the true upper echelon of fighters. But I think Uriah Hall is going to find a way to knock him out late here. 4th round KO. Maybe the pick changes later on in the week, but as of right now, that is my pick. No bet as far as straight bets, maybe potential prop bet on Uriah Hall. The final or the most updated odds right now, plus 180 for Hall, Strickland around the minus 195 favorite. It's a tricky fight. I was going back and forth. I watched a lot of film. I do feel like Strickland controls early parts of the fight and certain rounds, but I just have a feeling that Uriah Hall finds a way to land the superior strikes and get the knockout here. So we're riding with Uriah Hall in this matchup. I do want to get to some potential parlays to play. Make sure you guys smash that like button if you guys have not yet. I appreciate everybody for tuning in live or on replay. You guys are all fantastic. We need those 200 likes. So let's check out some potential parlays here because I want to give you guys some opportunities to make a little bit of dinero on safer parlays. We're not going to go crazy. Last week was a wild ass week. I hope this one isn't as crazy. I hope there's more clear-cut decisions and less controversy, but it is mixed martial arts and crazy shit tends to happen on a regular basis. So what is the two-fighter money parlay? Okay, Rafa García. That would be my first pick for a two-fighter parlay if you need one. You nearly guarantees to cash, nearly, because nothing can be guaranteed in this sport, but I need something that has a pretty high likelihood of cashing. Now, who would be my second guy that I'd want to bring in alongside of him? Rafa García? Would I go crazy and put Kopylov? Potentially. This is one of the two, I guess, $1,000 parlays here. So that would be a two-fighter parlay that I would feel fairly confident playing. As crazy as it sounds, I also think this matchup here, where is it? I'm losing my place. Nicco Montaño, plus 119. Risky. That's a women's fight. We won't even count it as official, I guess, so we'll just do one more. So it's out of 3. We'll do a third one. Also, I do feel like Benoit could win the fight, plus 135. Risky, though. Parlays are like super high risk. This card will definitely have some high risk parlays if you're looking to throw at it. Personally, I like the straight bets, number 1. But if you got to parlay some things up, sometimes you want to have a little bit of fun. I don't blame you. Let's see what we can do if we develop a solid potential parlay here with some notable names. I also think a potential parlay would be Gloria DiPaula and Rafa García. If you're looking to play a dog parlay, these two plus 256, guys, I think Gloria DiPaula is being slept on. I do think she's going to fend off takedowns well, and I think she's going to outstrike Cheyenne Buys. So Rafa García, Gloria DiPaula, Roman Kopylov. I think Kopylov's a money play, plus 401. That's a money three-fighter parlay if you're looking to play it with a dog. Let's say you don't like DiPaula. Maybe you're on the side of Cheyenne Buys. Who could be somebody you add in? Maybe Baghdasaryan, plus 236. Another one that maybe you add in if you're feeling ballsy would be Nicco Montaño. That's a 4-fighter parlay. I really like bringing in Gloria, though, because now you're at plus 1233. I think this 5-fighter parlay could potentially hit, as crazy as it does sound. I'm excited for all these matchups, man. This card is going to be sweet. Do you want to bet on the main event? Hey, that's going to be up to you guys completely. I might potentially throw some prop bets out there, but I don't know if I love that main event straight bet because there's definitely some high risk here. Let's see. All right, let's see what's being talked about here in this live chat. If you're being hated, you're doing something right, bro. You're absolutely right, man. I love the love and I love the hate. Edwards and Luque, you got Barberena. Yeah, I don't blame you. Witt does have a bad chin, definitely. His chin is definitely shaky as hell, man. Yeah, Alvey definitely is on a downslope, too. You're on Cheyenne? Man, I'm on the other side, man. I like DiPaula. Glad some of you guys have Hall in the house, man. Yeah, I like Uriah Hall to be a play here. Do you deliver papers in the 1950s? Extra. Yeah, I do, actually. 1950s was my time, bro. You got to parlay a woman, let it be Yoder. Dude, I don't know if I want to play on Yoder, dude. I don't know if I want to throw dinero down on Ashley Yoder. Yeah, she's going to beat Frey. She definitely, I think, is going to beat Frey, man. I just get worried with an Ashley Yoder play. But let's see. Let's see what the value is if we ended up playing Yoder. Man, this would be a wild-ass parlay. Rafa García, Roman Kopylov, Baghdasaryan, Nicco Montaño, Ashley Yoder. Definitely some potential money to be made on this card. We'll go way deeper with the best bets video. So, guys, make sure you tune in to the UFC best bets. It's going to be on Tuesday. I cannot wait to do it. We're going to take it deep. We're going to cover all of the best bets, the best parlays, the best props, the best money line plays. Like, there's so many things that we're going to talk about when all of the props officially drop. Also, tomorrow, Bellator predictions are dropping. Got a pretty sweet Bellator card this weekend as well. You guys got to let me know, what fight companion do you want to see being the specific focus? Do you want Bellator fight companion or do you want UFC fight companion? gonna have to hear from you guys. So make sure you guys let me know in the comments what you want to see as far as fight companions go this weekend, because the fights are on the same night, unfortunately. Obviously, I'll give live updates of both, but one specific. As far as this card, I will give it a C+ rating. It's okay. It's not fantastic. It's got pretty fun main and co-main event, but other than that, kind of weak. Maybe even a C. But hey, still fights. The Bellator card's stacked, though, so we'll definitely go deep with that Bellator card tomorrow. If you guys haven't yet, smash the hell out of that like button. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, whether live or on replay. You guys are all fantastic. I love all of you. Thank you all so much for tuning in to another legendary live stream. If you guys are new here, make sure to subscribe. Also, make sure smash the like button. We need at least 200 likes. We already got somebody in the comments, Dan Goldstein, the OG, the legend, saying Bellator this card. So yeah, we might be doing the Bellator fight companion this weekend, which would honestly be pretty fun, especially that I might be one of the few doing a specified Bellator card deep dive. But hey, I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for being here. That is the full card predictions. Plenty more content coming out this week. Bellator predictions tomorrow. Best bets coming out on Tuesday. We'll also have some Bellator best bets as well. I have another fight cast coming out. Should be a pretty fun podcast. My boy is coming back for a second session. You guys didn't scare him away. I appreciate you guys not doing that. Yeah, a lot of things coming out this week. Keep it locked in with MMA experts. Appreciate you all so much. Smash that like button. Thank you guys all for being here. Much love and have a great night, all my people. Peace, guys.